The fear of God might not sound festive. Instead, it might suggest terror, anxiety, or sadness. But Psalm 47 teaches just the opposite. God is to be joyfully feared because he is a great king over all the earth, as verse 2 and 7 say. He chose Israel and conquered nations to give her promised land. For believers in Jesus, God's choice of Israel and his gift of a place to live is no less applicable. God's salvation, including his election and his glorification of redeemed sinners, are reasons to celebrate. The God of our salvation is a warrior. He has gone up with a shout, with the sound of a trumpet, verse 5 says. God is enthroned, highly exalted over the nations, verses 8 and 9. So how should we respond? People who realize that God is their victor will respond like any crowd whose victor wins the contest, with singing, with shouting, with clapping. 6 times God commands singing in verses 1, 6, and 7. And not just any kind of singing is appropriate for this victory. Shout to God with loud songs of joy, verse 1 says. When the Ark of the Covenant once entered the Israelite camp, 1 Samuel 4:5 says, all Israel shouted so loudly that the earth shook. This is the kind of singing God deserves. And as exuberant people shout, they clap their hands. Now, shout singing and clapping aren't the only ways that we should worship God. Some worship should be penitential. Sometimes we will be silent before God, as Habakkuk 2 verse 20 says. But isn't something wrong if we never worship, like Psalm 47? Puritan Matthew Henry warned that such worship as to some may seem indecent and imprudent ought not to be condemned, much less ridiculed. If lively praise comes from an upright heart and is shaped by Scripture, God accepts it. Animated worship, after all, will be the norm for believers in the age to come, as Isaiah 55:12 says. John heard the voice of myriads of worshipers saying with a loud voice, worthy is the Lamb who was slain to receive power and wealth and wisdom and might and honor and glory and blessing, Revelation 5 says. But even now, we should be learning the practice of wholehearted, full-bodied worship. Christ has secured our victory over the devil, over the flesh, over the world. He is highly exalted, so let us shout to God with loud songs of joy. And it's okay even to clap your hands. Let's hear Psalm 47. To the choir master, a psalm of the sons of Korah. Clap your hands, all peoples. Shout to God with loud songs of joy. For the Lord, the Most High, is to be feared, a great king over all the earth. He subdued peoples under us and nations under our feet. He chose our heritage for us, the pride of Jacob, whom he loves, Selah. God has gone up with a shout, the Lord with the sound of a trumpet. Sing praises to God, sing praises. Sing praises to our King, sing praises. For God is the King of all the earth, sing praises with a psalm. God reigns over the nations. God sits on his holy throne. The princes of the people gather as the people of the God of Abraham. For the shields of the earth belong to God. He is highly exalted.